To AWANI tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. More states inch toward recovery, and can recall elections hold MPs accountable? That's coming up. Melaka will move to Phase 2 of the National Recovery Plan, while Negeri Sembilan will enter Phase 3, both starting Saturday. In an announcement today, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the government will also reopen the tourism sector in several destinations under the Travel Bubble program, beginning with Langkawi.
Langkawi Island was chosen as a pilot project to reopen to local tourists from September 16th. Other tourist destinations will also be allowed to operate when local vaccination rate reaches 80%. Ismail Sabri also said that today, for the first time in months, the rate of infection or R0 nationwide is below 1.0, signalling that the country is on track towards recovery. He added, based on the average vaccination rate in each state, 80% of the adult population will be vaccinated by the end of this month, while a 100% vaccination rate can be achieved by the end of October.
The government announced a ceiling price of 19 ringgit 90 cents for COVID-19 self-test kits in retail stores starting September 5th, while the wholesale price for the test kits is also capped at 16 ringgit. This is in anticipation that the demand for rapid test kits is expected to increase following heightened public awareness in self-assessment.
Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin and Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi said in a joint statement that the decision was made to ensure reasonable prices and availability of supplies in the market. Stern action will be taken against those who flout the new regulation. Individuals found guilty can be punished with a maximum fine of 100,000 ringgit or face jail time of up to 3 years or both, while corporate bodies can be fined up to 500,000 ringgit for first offence and 1 million ringgit for subsequent offences.
Private hospitals have offered to assist the government in vaccinating teenagers once the vaccination program is expanded to include them. Association of Private Hospitals Malaysia President Dr. Kuljit Singh said most private hospitals have ceased being part of the national inoculation drive, but they are ready to be re-included upon request. He said hospitals are also prepared to administer jabs at schools if so desired by parents. Yesterday, Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said that there is a likelihood that COVID-19 will be deemed endemic by the end of October. He targets vaccinating adolescents against COVID-19 this month upon sufficient vaccine coverage of the adult population, with priorities given to those with underlying medical conditions and beginning with 16 to 17-year-olds. So far, more than 65% of the adult population in Malaysia have been fully vaccinated. Dato' AZHAR Azizan Harun confirmed that his office has received several motions from MPs seeking his removal as Speaker of the Dewan Rakyat. However, he has informed the respective MPs that he is not in a position to make any decision on the matter over concern of conflict of interest. He added that any decision pertaining to the motions will be left to his deputy, Datuk Muhammad Rashid Hasnun. His statement was in response to a report by Utusan Malaysia yesterday, alleging that he had rejected 15 submissions from MPs seeking his replacement. He stressed that the allegations were lies and slander. The final day to submit motions is 14 days before the House sits again. The next Parliament sitting, initially set for September 6, has been postponed to September 13th. Malaysia needs to put forward a legal mechanism to hold elected reps accountable. Thomas Fan from Bersih 2.0 urges the Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, to support recall elections as a tool to inculcate a sense of accountability among politicians.
According to him, recall election would return the mandate to voters by giving them the right to decide what happens when the elected representative defects.
Recall election as proposed by YB Azalina is that so when somebody hop, the mechanism of recall is that the voter who elected that person have the right to either sack the MP or to affirm the decision to defect.
Thomas said under the system, voters who supported their MP leaving his or her party need not vote in the recall election. He exemplifies the system by referring to a sitting member of parliament. In this example, Simpang Renggam MP Dr. Mazli Malik.
You need a 1% of registered voter to start the process. So once you collect 1% signature, then the election commission will say, okay, now the next step is you need to collect up to 40% of registered voter of Simpang Renggam. If there are 40% of registered voter of Simpang Renggam want to remove you, then the seat will be vacated and a by-election will be called where YB Masli can run again.
The fate of the recall election bill is still obscure at the moment, as Pengerang MP Datuk Sri Azalina Osman Said said she has submitted the motion to Dewan Rakyat Speaker Dato' Azhar Azizan Harun for tabling. Despite that, there may be some appetite for reforms, as the de facto law minister, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, said earlier this week that introducing anti-party hopping laws were among his priorities during his tenure.
Numerous calls have been made for Malaysia to introduce anti-party hopping law. However, Chairperson of Electoral Watchdog Bersih 2.0, Thomas Fan, believes that the mechanism may not be effective in deterring defections among MPs.
One of the reasons for that is Article 10 of the Federal Constitution, which states that all citizens have the right to form associations.
That has always been the legal barrier to the standard anti-hopping law, which Penang has enacted, I think, since 2012. They have the law, so they threatened to use it recently when 2 PKR and 2 Bersatu Adun came out from Pakatan. They threatened to vacate their seat, but that case was taken to court, and I think it's still pending. And I think Article 10 will still be a barrier. The second problem with anti-hopping law is that it can't deal with a party that leaves a coalition. Like what happened when Bersatu left Pakatan. They are still a party, so it doesn't apply to those who remain in Bersatu, but they left Pakatan Harapan. But it applies to those who choose to leave their party because they don't agree with the decision of the leadership.
He added that another flaw in the law is that it strengthens the position of the party leadership.
The party leader can threaten anyone who doesn't toe his line, submit to his will, with a dismissal. And once you're dismissed, then your seat is vacated. So hopping law is automatic also. So the moment people hop, whether it's for a good reason or a bad reason, the seat is vacated and there's a by-election. It's automatic. Recall election, on the other hand, is not automatic. It is returning the mandate to the voters of that constituency.
We will take a quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Taliban is preparing to unveil their new government 2 weeks after they captured Kabul. The group is seeking international recognition and legitimacy to govern. At the same time, keep financial support flowing into the country to prevent the economic and humanitarian crisis from deepening. A Taliban official said on social media that a ceremony was being prepared at the presidential palace in Kabul, as local media reports a new government is imminent. The legitimacy of the new government in the eyes of international donors and investors will be crucial for the economy. The Taliban has promised to allow safe passage out of the country for any foreigners or Afghans left behind by the massive airlift which ended with the withdrawal of the last US troops on Monday. But with Kabul airport still closed, thousands of people rushed to land borders to flee to neighboring countries. Thailand said its COVID-19 vaccine formula of mixing one dose of Sinovac followed by a second dose of AstraZeneca was safe and successfully boosted immunity. Its health ministry cited the success after administering the doses to 1.5 million recipients.
It added that the combination of China-British-made vaccines boosted immunity to the same levels as 2 AstraZeneca shots. This meant vaccinations could be completed faster due to the shorter duration gap. The formula will be used for most of Thailand's vaccinations. So far, 13% of the country's population of over 66 million has been fully vaccinated.
A state of emergency was declared in New York City after it was hit by record rainfall and flash flooding as a result of Tropical Storm Ida. At least 9 people have died, with some people trapped in flooded basements. New Jersey has also declared an emergency and reported at least 1 death involving a man trapped in his vehicle. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said the city was enduring an historic weather event, reporting 3.1 inches of rain in Central Park within an hour. Footage on social media showed water pouring into subway stations and flooded streets in Manhattan. At least 1 tornado also battered Pennsylvania and New Jersey, damaging multiple homes. Meanwhile, in Spain, an intense rainstorm has led to severe flooding in the country. Some parts of central Spain near Madrid were affected, but the coastal towns in the northeastern region of Catalonia were hardest hit. Thousands of homes were left without electricity, while roads and rail links have been forced to close. Flash floods swept cars down the streets in the Catalan seaside town of Alcanar following torrential rains. There were no immediate reports of casualties. Authorities across Spain are on high alert after overnight storms produced more than 9,000 lightning strikes. After recent revelations of the Selangor government's shock degazetment of the Kuala Langat North Forest Reserve months ago, we are now told that the decision has been postponed. Tonight on Consider This, we speak to our guests about an increasingly murky saga. That is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Get the latest news updates on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and the Astro AWANI app. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching.